Now back to tonight's World Cup kickoff. Last week, Brazil faced several strikes in public services, which has put into question whether the country is actually ready to start hosting the world's biggest football tournament starting tonight. Let's now go to our reporter Marcelo Pellegrini, who's live with our correspondent from Sao Paulo.
São Paulo. The city of the opening game of Brazil's World Cup lived a traffic nightmare because of a 5-day tube strike that happened just 1 week before the World Cup. For the opening game, the strike suspended, but workers are still threatening the government with new industrial acts in the next days in case the layoffs issued during the strikes are not cancelled. Let's talk to our correspondent Marcelo Nascimento directly from São Paulo. So Marcelo, how did São Paulo react to this tube strike?
Well, the city is completely collapsed. The strike was considered illegal by the court. Basically, the court obliged workers to work with 100% of operation during rush hours and 70% in the rest of the day. And for the union, these requirements don't constitute a strike.
But with no tube, how would it be possible to reach the stadium?
The city hall and the local organizing committee have a plan B. In a simulation, we could reach the stadium in 45 minutes by special buses, driving in exclusive lanes, instead of 30 by tube.
As we saw with the riots from June last year, do you think that with this particular transportation cause, the population will blame the government again?
The most part of the population doesn't support the strike. They blame the strike for this crazy traffic and the crowded buses, and they can't see the responsibility of the government on the transportation troubles in São Paulo. At the end of the day, commuters blame their workers and the state government escapes unhurt.
And Marcelo, how is the atmosphere in Brazil before the opening game?
The atmosphere isn't the same that we have here in other World Cups. We can't find many streets painted as we always had before. And also, can't see many people dressed in Brazilian t-shirts. In the end, I think the most part of the population will support Brazil. But I also think that the demonstrations had a considerable impact on the atmosphere before the event. It's gonna be a different World Cup in Brazil, at least different than the ones we had before.
Thank you, Marcelo. Let's come back to the studio.